What is going on, my Atomic Cycle Works friends? Today's video, we have a lot going on. It's longer than we normally do because we are doing a lot of stuff all week long. And instead of breaking up into small, tiny clips of videos, we're just doing one big video with everything in between. And we're gonna see how you like it, how I like it, and how it responds. Very busy week. If you follow us on just YouTube, or Facebook. On Facebook, we do different reels than we do on YouTube. YouTube is just clips now of our long form videos, so you could see more of it and it could stay focused on what we do. Facebook is where we are just a rattle can of craziness. So this is one of the things we did on Facebook Reels this week. If you want to check it out, go ahead. If not, don't. Stay on YouTube. Go to Facebook. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Now, hey, before we get started, guys, anybody who is a returning friend to the channel, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you so much. Glad to see you again. And then if you're new here, welcome to Atomic Cycle Works, where we make motorcycle seats and are on a journey to make a company selling production motorcycle seats and parts for motorcycles and soaring into the future. All right, here we are in the custom shop, and today we're doing some little things. First, we have to take and get rid of this wrinkle. If you saw our video in our previous week, this is one of the seats that had come in, and it's a quick and easy repair, so we're gonna knock that out right now and see where we're at. Okay, the wrinkle's out. It was a very easy fix. One thing that made me remember to tell you guys is that when we do our work, when we make seats, a lot of the stuff we do, we offer like a lifetime warranty. As long as I'm alive, bring it back and we'll take care of it. So we're very easy to deal with where if there's a problem, and it does suck when you're out of state because you have to ship things and there's a little bit of waiting, but no matter what, we do stand behind our work. And some of our work that we stood behind was 25 years old. So we really take pride in what we do, and we don't want anything bad out there that we've done. So if you hear someone say we don't stand behind our work, you know they're lying, because we always do. The only thing we have to ask you guys is to be patient, because we have to fit this in our schedule of doing everything else. So you have to have this happy balance of doing repairs, doing warranties, and that type of stuff when you're doing other stuff. Luckily, warranties are very rare, and usually it's just something very, very simple like this, where it's a 2-second fix and it's in and out. But this one's done, and we are on to this seat. And this one here, unfortunately, the gel's not in. We ran out of gel last week. We had a lot of orders on gel. So what I am gonna do is strip this seat down. Well, I'm not gonna tell you, let's just do it. I'm just gonna tear the seat down over on this table. If you watch our channel, you know we are trying to go into more of a production, higher volume angle. And one of the things we need to do is have specific areas for specific tasks, like disassembling a seat, because you can't take a seat apart on a final assembly area, because if a staple or something falls out and gets stuck in the table, and then you put a seat cover or something on and spin it, it's gonna rip it. So I had to come over here to our custom table, which I just moved over here. And what's funny is I'm having major deja vu. And what it is I've just remembered when we first started our YouTube videos like during COVID. It was Ian and I doing some car seats, taking them apart and doing stuff. And the budget hasn't changed much, still pretty low budget. But what was funny is the table was over here, and this is where we were tearing things apart. As soon as I got over here, I was like, oh man, it gave me the heebie-jeebies. So I give a shout out to Ian, because I know he watches a lot of our videos. He's no longer with our company, but it is funny. It's weird. It's very weird. So I'm gonna just pull these staples apart really quick. And I hate when they use these small wire staples, and they use a million of them. You have I used to, when we first started doing upholstery, I would use the small wire staples. They're nice for things like convertible tops, because they're very small and they go inside the tack strips. But when you're talking seats and stuff like this, it's a pain in the tail, and it's very tedious, because now you got to remove a million of these little guys, and that's what we're doing. And what's funny is this is a newer seat too. Low Rider S hasn't been around that long, and they're using old school staples. So it just takes a little bit longer to pull these apart, and you gotta be extra careful. I had one that just fell. They're very small, and with this scratch up table, it does not look good. That's another thing we're gonna be getting to, is we need to make some really cool benches for working on. We got a lot of stuff to do, and it's so hard, because if you buy the stuff that you need, one, it usually doesn't work, because our application, what we do is so custom that like the benches and the tables and all that stuff are kind of specific. So then you either gotta pay someone to make them, or you gotta get the time to make them. And paying people is very expensive to make stuff, and a lot of times when they make it, they don't make it the way you really intend to, because they don't do what you do. But then finding the time to do it is really challenging as you get older. I used to be able to say, okay, I'm just gonna do the weekends, and then what sucks is people find out you're here on the weekends, and then they come in, talk, because they think if you're here, you're just here for fun. You have nothing else to do but hang out. And fortunately, that's not the case. Just Took all the staples out of the seat, and one thing I wanted to show you guys is, like, so a lot of times, if possible, when we take our brackets off, because they have to be removed to get the staples off from underneath here, I like to just put them in backwards so they're stay with the seat, as long as we know that's not going to be a problem. If the motorcycle's here, I missed 2 staples. If the motorcycle's here, I don't do that. The last thing you want is someone like, oh, I need to test fit that seat, and throw it on the bike, and then that hits and it scratches the paint. So this is only for seats that we do when the bike's not here. And most of the time we have these bins over there that all the parts go in and stay together. But even then, I like to just kind of keep everything together as we go. I'll show you what the inside of this seat looks like. Not that it's a big deal. This is one of the things we do. We show you inside of the seats, and people complain like, who gives a shit? They don't really care what's inside the seat. Some people do. And this is your Low Rider S seat. I missed 8 staples. These little staples are a pain in the butt because you can't see them a lot of times. Okay, 8 staples in the garbage, not on the table. Pull it out, there you go. Bottom of the seat, take this junk off because we're not gonna use this crap. Right there, this is the seat. Seat is not foamed down. Oh, tough Hersteller installation details. Tuffic Hersteller, well, you know what, I've never seen that before in my life. So look at that. Whoever's making the seats for Harley here, they put this piece of plastic here, which is kind of a good idea. What happens is a lot of times you have a built-in tab or something, and for room, they actually cut this out. Sometimes when you shave the seat down, it ends up going through, and there's like this little divot there. So by putting this plastic, the foam can't go through there. So now technically I could glue this foam on and shave it right down there, and it's not gonna move, which is kind of cool, something different. I like to see things different. I see seats every day and it gets pretty mundane sometimes. This one is ready for the foam process, and we're gonna go do that. I'm actually gonna assign him a bin first. I am gonna keep all his stuff together. All right, so I have his old school label here. We're just gonna stick this on the bottom of the seat, and this just helps it as it goes through the process in the shop. This seat is not really great places to stick stuff. Bin number 10. So now I can put all his stuff in the bin. We're gonna move this over to the foam table. Get it foamed. We're at the foam table. Another thing we need to make, we need so much stuff here. Do you know what I was thinking we might do? Instead of like trying to get like sponsors and stuff, well, it'd be sponsors, but like what if we did a thing where we put on our website, you could purchase the bench that we're about to make, not for you, but for us. So you purchase it, we build it, we put your name on it, you're a sponsor of it. I don't care who the heck it is that sponsors it, but your name will be all over it as long as we use that bench. So every time we do a video, there's your name. I think it's a good idea. No? Anyway, that's me trying to save a buck. Trying to do that a lot lately. But we need to set this up as a specific glue station for seats, and one, or foam station for seats, and one for motorcycle and one for car, ventilated so it sucks through with like a vac system, and then somehow we got to make it so that we could actually film from the other side so you can see us as we're doing this, so I don't have to keep turning, and then you won't be able to see my big fat belly. I'm just going to go through and glue this foam here on. So I should have shown you this before I started spraying it, but on this seat, they literally just glued around the edge with this great glue. Look at this stuff. This is just great. It's enough to hold the seat foam to the seat pan, I guess, but not if you need to work on it like we do. They don't need to do that. They just put the foam on there, throw the cover on it, less glue, saves them a little bit of money. But you see when it gets near this edge here, that's no bueno, because that's gonna literally leave a bump on the side of the seat pan, which we don't want. So let's get this all centered up where it's supposed to be. Very important that you center everything as you're going, so that when we're shaving it and sculpting it, everything's symmetrical. Bada boom, that's it, right? So this one here, obviously we're gonna be doing gel, but the gel, like I told you, is out. It should be here Monday. So with the seat that sits like this, you could kick it up and you're good, but if the seat sits like this, by kicking this forward, it's gonna be pushing into your back, and we don't want that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give them a very extremely mild drag seat, right? We're gonna cut just that little bit out. I am gonna narrow here, and we're gonna drop this down a little bit for them. I'll show you what that's gonna look like. Actually, do we gotta clean this first? Yes, let's clean this first, which means I need lacquer thinner. This is stuff that drives me crazy. So we're going to grab a lacquer thinner. We normally have a really clean lacquer thinner bottle over here because aside from the glue, the upholstery doesn't really get that dirty. But this one is here instead with fiberglass and paint all over it, which is probably one of the original ones from our body shop that somehow migrated to the composite shop and now is in the upholstery shop. Don't know how to explain it. But let's clean this up, get all the glue off of it so it works better. How's everybody's new year going, huh? We're already off to a new start. 2026 is underway. I just got my daughter sent over the ultrasound for her baby, and it looks very real now. It went from a little dot to an actual face, which is pretty exciting and pretty scary. We'll tell you, very nervous, very nervous. Okay, so let's get this out of here. Let's do a little cut here. So yes, if you wanted to, you could actually mark both sides exact. And then when you cut with this saw, really pay attention and go through it and make sure it's perfect. And I think in the beginning, I probably used to do that. Now I just rough it out and then just grind it and measure it as we go, because I guess once you do a billion of these things, they start to, you could skip over a few processes. So now I am going to slightly narrow the sides here a little bit. Now, a lot of people say, like, a lot of times I usually cut this right down to the seat pan. I didn't on this one just because it has kind of a lot of foam on the side, and I think it would just be too much of a radical rake. But a lot of times I like to cut it to the seat pan because then you could square it up. If both sides are right at that seat pan, you know your bottom's the same. So when you go to shave it and sculpt it, you can look down and sight it. You can see that if it's off, wobbly, or any of that stuff. So now I think I am gonna just go through and cut out where we're gonna put the gel. Do you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna show you an old school way, see if it works on this seat of gels. A lot of times I just mark it and then I grind it out, but I think Lewis stole my grinder. So I'm gonna do this. We're gonna come under here, right? Come right down here. I'm gonna come right across here. And this is gonna be where we're gonna put his gel, bada boom. Now, one way you can do it is put this in here, follow seat pan, which I don't like to do because you literally could hit the pan. Now we can take this out, right? Even though I glued it down, we didn't glue it that great. So there we go. Bada boom. So now you can see here, there's not much foam in the front of that seat, is there? That's where your nads are. Your gonads. I don't know why they call them that. That's weird. If I shave that down a lot more, you're gonna be hitting some plastic there. Bada boom. Some people do it like this because what you could do is you could measure, right? Where's a ruler? So the gel is usually 3/8, half, or 5/8, depending on which one you get. So you could just literally measure that off of here, take this off and go, which isn't gonna leave us a lot. This is actually gonna be a pain in the ass because if you look at it, basically we're looking at shaving that. Now, a lot of times when people do it this way, the reason they'll do it is the seat pans are really bumpy underneath there. This one happens to be perfectly smooth, so it's kind of a waste. So we'll do it for the sake of doing it. Now you're gonna have to really carefully go through and so now you take the bottom, top's garbage. We take the bottom, put it in there, and take a look and see if it is close. And for the most part, we are close. Over here is a little bit high. So I'm gonna take this off and this off. And you can see there, just a 1/2 inch is just gonna be gel. Just like that. I'll glue this back in, right? And when you do this, you're gonna wanna glue sides, bottom, back. Now, I know this looks really easy, and we get a lot of people who do this at home asking us questions. We also have a lot of people who do it at home and then sit in their seats in and have us redo them. So if we do, please don't be upset or embarrassed. We get it, it happens all the time. We're not gonna break your stones for trying. So that's it. This one's ready for gel, and we are gonna move on to the next one. All right, guys, here we are on our production segment of the video. And I know this is a truck seat. I messed up. I actually did a whole video on the truck seat, and I almost put it on the CycleWorks channel. But at the same time, this is our messy area, one of them. We have this area and the back building, which I'm not even showing you the back building yet because it's filled with so much stuff. And we got to get all that stuff out of there, and then we have to turn it into production. So this is gonna be where we do our welding. So back here, we're gonna have stations for making brackets. We're gonna have to get a lot of equipment in, and we're gonna expand this area up for production. So things that we make are, let me grab one, like seat bracket tabs. There's so many different tabs that we make. Right now, we outsource a lot of the stuff. We want to be able to bring it all in-house. So it'll speed up our process, our productivity. Having things on hand will be a lot better. And it just kind of cuts out that extra step that we have to do waiting on people. Now in the back building, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, from making our injection foam, which is going to be a really huge thing. So we're going to make encapsulated molds out of fiberglass to make our actual injected foam. So we're getting a machine to do that. That's going to be in the back building. We're actually going to be making plastic seat pans for production stuff. And then obviously we make our composite seat pans. So we have a fiberglass shop already set up, but it's really messy right now. And I kind of am embarrassed to show anybody because it's just a little too messy and I haven't had time to clean it up, but we will be doing that on this video over the next few weeks. Now for our behind the scenes business update of business stuff that goes on behind the scenes this week, we're keeping it simple. We're talking about our phone system, right? We actually were like, well, I was like, I am so tired of paying so much money for so many phones and so much super internet and all this other stuff. When we start DSD and our motorcycle seat company and then the parts company for our car seats and interior parts, I want to keep it simple and cut costs back. So I said, give me just like an old-fashioned, a line, a wire that comes right from the pole and plugs into a phone. Simple, cheap, right? So I called up Frontier, and you know what they told me? We're not doing that anymore. If you don't have fiber, you got to use Wi-Fi. And if you do Wi-Fi, you got to have Comcast, because we only have Comcast cable in our area. We still have to use Comcast, but we went through and we went with Nextiva phones, or is it Nextiva? Nextiva, set up some voice over IP lines. They were actually really easy to deal with. Programming the phones was a little bit of a challenge because we had one of these sons of guns that just did not want to sync up, but we were able to go through and get it done. Everything works great. I like it. The system, they gave us toll-free lines. Everything works good. These little phones are a little different to use. I don't know if it's because you get so used to using cell phones now and smartphones that old-fashioned phones are kind of weird, but it works. It works great. My only gripe I have is that for Atomic Cycle Works specifically, the one that we're talking about now, they gave us a rollover phone number that literally is a hospital. And we have 100 crazy calls a day, people spilling their guts about all the tragedies they're going through in life, and it is killing us answering phones. So with that said, the topic was Nextiva phones. I give them 8 out of 10. Very good to deal with so far. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, ring the bell, all that stuff. Tell a friend, tell your parents, tell your grandkids, tell everybody. Check out AtomicCycleWorks.com. Thanks for watching our videos.